Yeah, sweet. Shuvits, 5 flip tricks. Whenever you're ready. Welcome to today's stream. Today we have a great show for you guys. The 5 Flatground flip tricks you need to know. It's a bit of a hot topic. We are going to be doing Shuvits. Some people say it's a flip trick. Some people say it's not, but for the sake of this video, we're definitely going to be calling it a flip trick. If you're here on YouTube watching live, welcome. If you're on Twitch watching live, welcome. If you're late and you're watching the VOD, welcome. Make sure when you click the comments, you swipe to the side so you can see the live chat the whole time, because I will be answering questions and responding to chat. That will give you the best viewer experience. Today, our trick list is going to be shove it, kickflip, heel flip, fakie flips, and tray flips. I have some pre-planned things that I definitely want to share with you guys. But a lot of this is just going to be answering questions that you want answered. That's the beauty of live streams. And that's honestly why we're here. We have YouTube videos on a lot of these topics already. So if you want something cut down, very, very fast, easy to follow, watch some of our kickflip videos, or how to switch flip, or the keys to manuals. A lot of those main tips will come through in those videos. Lives are beautiful for interactions. Let me open up the chat, say what's up to you guys. Hey Mano, Preston, welcome, 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 welcome. Let's make sure that YouTube is also working, which it is. That's always a good sign. That YouTube chat's coming up. Hey Henry, Alexandra, Afar, welcome, welcome, welcome. Timo, we're just gonna have to deal with car noise today because we are by a freeway, and everywhere we go in this park is by a freeway. So there's not much I can do to avoid that. Mano, I have gone fishing with my grandfather when I was younger. That was a great time. And I've been off a dock in a lake once, but by no means am I a fisherman. Nifty Cent, we are everywhere. Dude, of course we're on Twitch. No, that's brand new. We're brand new streamers, so. We just gotta find a way to keep making content while the content's being produced, Got our editor, filmer, he's busy, he's editing, he's filming, he's making all his content. We got to be able to do something on our own. In the meantime, I want to be able to answer your guys' question. Like, the videos are great, but I want to know exactly specifically what you guys want to know about these tricks. I think sometimes that's hard for me. I've been skating for a long time, where I feel like, hey, what makes my kickflips easier is if I pop off of the toe side rail to throw the heel side rail up at my flick foot, and then I can control it from there. But for you, your problem might be way, way beyond anything you've ever dealt with. You might struggle with something else entirely. I need that feedback from you guys. Varial heel will be coming, yes, for sure. Not today, but it will be coming. Laser flips, do a laser flip, do a laser flip. Trust me, I hear you guys. No stress. Okay, it seems like a good time to get started. Hey, Don. Nifty. So, Brock, our filmer and editor, our main guy, a lot of times after our day of shooting, he will either grab my board and run around the skate park and skate for like 15 minutes, or he takes skate trips on his own when we're not doing sprints or going crazy with content. We are going to start with the most necessary flip trick to learn in your entire life, which is a shuvit. And I don't care if you want to do shuvits or pop shuvits or 1 foot catches or back foot catches or up or down transitions, up or down stairs. I do not care. The basics stay the same. We need to know how to spin the board, and we need to know how to land on top of the board when it is spinning or flipping underneath us. Beginners struggle with both parts. Struggle with actually spinning the board and struggle landing on it. So you can see how big of a problem this might be when you go to attack Shuvits for the first time. When it comes to spinning the board, I think it's actually a measure of a few things put together. Balance, timing, and then technique. Okay? So when we look at balance, what does it mean to have good balance? Balance goes deeper than just standing on top of the board. Okay? I can stand on the board and I can bend my knees like this. I'm not gonna fall, but I don't have good balance. If you look at it from the side, I'm not loading that board in any type of useful way at all. My trucks are just diving off the toe side. I don't really have a strong squat to be able to jump. Yes, that's a very dramatic example, but I've seen things very close to that. The reason balance, timing, and strategy are all important is because you don't want to have to try too hard. I want you to be lazy and great. Okay, so to do a pop shove it, if you're bending down and touching your grip tape and being fearful and jumping as high as you can every time, that's not really sustainable. You can't do 100 shove-its in a session and get anything out of it. You'll be smoked. You'll need to take a quick trip to the local ER to deal with your dehydration. So, good balance starts with good foot position. When you step on the board, I want you to find a nice place for your back foot to rest on the tail. At first, and probably for a long time, you will have to look at the tail to know where your back foot is. Okay, it's more common to look at your front foot when you're putting it on, but then you're so worried about riding and trying the trick that your back foot ends up going wherever. So be disciplined at this stage. Look at the tail and put your back foot exactly where you want it. I'm a big fan of having a little bit of room between your back toe and the edge of the board. Let me show you. Let's see if this thing will autofocus. Okay. If your back toe is hanging off the edge at all, that's going to make it really hard to find pressure in your back foot at the bottom of your squat. Having the toe of your shoe on the skateboard will help you when you're at the bottom of your squat. You can push into the tail and your board won't tip over toe side too much. A recent change that I made in my own skating, and it's taking a while to get used to, admittedly, I tend to have my back foot way back on the tail. I tend to I like that feeling. Maybe I can feel that top rail a little bit. I feel like if my foot is further up, the pop is going to be bigger, but oftentimes I just have to try harder to do the same thing if I were to just have my foot sitting lower on the tail. So there's also space between the left side of my shoe and the edge of the tail. So I can see a lot of grip tape around my foot on the tail, okay? And I would like for you to try the same thing. For your front foot, when you're doing shove-its, it's a good idea to drop it pretty low. Drop it about halfway down the board, because that'll lighten up the nose a lot. What that means is, if my front foot is really high on the nose, it takes more effort to pick up the nose, and I'm more likely to fall over the nose. So it makes it a lot heavier feeling. If I drop my front foot down halfway, that gives the nose the ability to rotate very easily, and it's also easy to pick up without really adjusting my balance. Right, my feet are spread apart. My center is going to be in the middle of the board. If my feet are close together, my center is going to be closer to the back track. Does that make sense? Okay, so that I would consider balance. Foot position and balance have a very intertwined relationship. There is not one without the other. Now we have timing. What's our timing going to be? How you pick up the nose is a very simple subject. But how you get power with your to bring your board in the air high and fast becomes a little more nuanced. So let's start with the very simple how to get your nose in the air. If I were to stand here, not on my board, and I got my feet together, I'm going to push just a little bit into my back foot by bending my back knee slightly more than my front. Okay? My weight might be 60-40 on my back foot in this situation. Then if I jump, I can push off of my back foot pretty heavily, right, and lift up my front foot. Right? I'm making this very small movement because in reality, it is a small movement, right? This is the pop, okay? The reason my front foot's only coming up in the air a little bit is because if I jump, everything will be up in the air more. So it looks like that front foot is coming up really high. But in reality, that front foot is probably only lifting a couple of inches. When your front foot is on the board, it is glued to the skateboard. There is no way for me to pick up my front foot without my board following, since my back foot is on the tail. There is not a separate thing you have to do. You don't have to lean and push into your back foot and try and push your tail to the ground, right? I don't want you to imagine it like you're trying to break your tail to get it to the down. I want you to imagine it like, okay, I have my weight. I can feel my back foot on the tail. Let's bend that back foot a little more. Now this board is just ready to follow my front foot wherever I put it. And it will not come off. Oftentimes, with your nose in the air, you actually have to push on your front foot to keep your nose down, even while holding a manual. If I just pick up my front foot, that's going to be very hard to hold the manual. But if I push into my front foot, I can hold the nose close to the ground while keeping it in the air. It's a very cool feeling, and it will really help you feel what that tension is like against your board, which will help with your timing. Okay, so our timing is going to be, we're pushing and extending, and right when we feel our front trucks come up in the air, you are going to kick yourself in the butt. You feel that go, and then it's all in your back foot to scoop or slide those wheels around. Very isolated movement with the back foot. At this stage, it's completely fine if you feel like you have to reach your front foot across to get the board to spin. I understand. That's how you would get it to spin if you weren't jumping, right? If you just reach your front foot across, your board will go. And that is basically a shove it, right? If I reach, that board will go around the corner. The reason this isn't the main technique I want you to use is because while we're rolling, that easily makes the board start to traverse too far to the toe side. I'll do this straight at the camera so you can see. If I reach, right, you see how my board wants to shoot out toe side. And that is just simply because we are not jumping until our board is facing that way. So the wheels are just gonna roll and then it's gonna finish. Okay? So we wanna do this shove it from a position where our wheels are still riding the direction that we wanna go. Very slow motion will be like that, right? Board tracks off. Let me take a quick second, talk to you guys for a minute. What's up, incoming stick with the Prime sub on Twitch? Make sure you guys are going over to Twitch if you prefer it from YouTube. It's just an easier chat experience on both sides, in my opinion. Hey, Keegan, Mana, Slammin'. Preston, congratulations on your first shove it. Hell yeah. Rod, thanks for the membership on YouTube. You're a legend. How do pop shuvits relate to kickflips, Sedan asked? That's a great question. That is a very good question. Let's take a brief break from the pre-planned content. Yes, Sedant, there is tray flips in this video. Tyler, if you're listening, it might be a good idea on the side of the screen to make text that shows, you know, we'll be doing shuvits, kickflips, heel flips, fakie flips, and tray flips. Up to you. Do not really care. So how do shuvits relate to kickflips? Okay, the stage we're at with shuvits is how do we get this shove it to start, and how do we get this board to hold line, and what's the timing? But how do we get it to relate to kickflips is a great question, because this takeoff point, this timing, is exactly the same for all of our tricks. Right? If you can feel that pressure in your back foot and you understand that you get the nose in the air by extending, and you can understand that you actually can feel tension on the board while holding a manual by pushing into the nose to hold that board down, you actually can get great feel for how a kickflip will work also. Right? So for a shove it, yeah, we're just in this position, very flat, and then all I got to do is jump and kick myself in the butt to get it to spin. But for a kickflip, we'd find that same tension and just roll the front foot over. Then if I jump, it wants to flip. So there are a lot of similarities between these tricks, and the reason I'm teaching shuvits this way is so you can find those similarities and improve a lot if you get good at some basic things. What I want to avoid, since it's a live stream and I have all day and you guys are content fiends, I want to avoid the three-step hack to pop shuvits, you know, by saying, hey, put your front foot on the toe side rail, reach your front foot across and jump. Yeah, that'll get the board to spin and you can land on it. But is that really going to build the skills that you need when you want to do good, I don't know, fakie manual, fakie flips? How can we teach shuvits in a way that leads into these harder tricks? Sorry about the car noise. It's just the way it is. We're by a freeway. I'm doing good, Jacob. I'm doing good. What, are we pulling a lot on Twitch right now? Yeah, we're doing great, guys. Okay. So we did balance, we did timing. Now let's talk about technique. When you're thinking about technique, I want you to connect your body movements, right? I want you to connect it with momentum and with a sound. The hard part about getting things positionally correct, meaning I'm going to say jump and kick yourself in the butt with your back foot. Body positions have everything to do with position and momentum working together. So I want you to come at it. I want you to be smart and intuitive and try to make the shove it work. I don't want you just to jump and say, I'm kicking myself in the butt. Why isn't it working? The process of actually getting your back foot up into the air somewhere around this position involves moving through this position and then listening for your wheels to slide on the ground a little bit. Okay? I want you to try to make your back wheels slide by kicking yourself in the butt. These things have to work together or it just doesn't work. So what we can do is learn how to do that little manual. It's almost like a hippie jump, right? Because I am weightless in the air and slide those back wheels back a little bit. Once you get that down, then put that together, put that motion together with kicking yourself in the back foot, in the butt. So a couple of things you can do to test if you're doing it properly. I'm not going to move my camera because we took a long time to get this framing right, but imagine that there is a line directly on the ground from me to the camera. When I slide my back trucks out, I want my back trucks to go across that line towards backside. Okay, you see how my board would now be in the center of that line? The big mistake that I see people make would be, oh, I'm doing it, but now look, I'm skating off towards the left side. My back trucks never really cross that line backside. Whenever you want to slide your wheels, it is paired with a jumping motion. I'm almost never pushing down into the ground to try to get those wheels to slide because there's just too much friction. I mean, I weigh 160 pounds, and if I load the ground even more, I'm pushing into it, I'm going to weigh probably closer to 200 pounds. Most people try to get their wheels to slide when they weigh the most that they possibly can. It doesn't really make sense to me. You want to weigh close to 0 pounds on the skateboard as you're moving your wheels around. That is the timing, and then we connect that timing with the technique. We have a good foot position, we got a good squat, and as we jump off of the board to get those wheels to slide, we just kick that back foot back and around. Okay, these are some new shoes, so the soles of my shoes are actually feeling pretty gripless. Like I'm feeling my shoe slide a lot on the board. And this is because of two things. My grip tape is old. Like I need a new deck immediately. Probably before this stream. And this ground is rough. I mean, this ain't like the concrete at Poods. So that's a lot of back foot talk. Right, and you probably watching the video like, Mitch, you're not kicking yourself in the butt. The highest my foot will probably get is here. But it's easier for me to think about Okay, I'm gonna send this back foot up to my butt cheek all the way. But as soon as I leave the board and that thing is spinning, my feet want to go back to where they're supposed to be. So it's a feel versus real kind of thing. I'm totally cool with you imagining it like kicking yourself all the way in the butt. If I kick myself in the butt not on my board, it actually feels like it takes less effort than when I'm on the board and my foot only goes this high. Right? That takes a lot of effort because we're dealing with a skateboard. That's back foot. Now let's talk about the beloved front foot. How do we say this in a way that gets the point across simply and effectively? I'm going to try something. We will see if it works. Then we will build a tip around it. You get it? You get it yet? Look at where my front foot is. My front foot went front side. If my front foot goes front side and my board still spins a backside shove it, that means this shove it is not coming from our front foot. It's as simple as that. If your front foot gets across your body to spin this shove it, it's just not necessary. And yes, your shuvits might work, but you're missing this crucial balance point and this crucial timing and technique point that transfers over to these other tricks. Okay, so you got to be able to move your front foot out front side or leave it completely still, right? It might feel like this. Hold your front foot in the air, and when you jump, slide your foot on the ground. Slide your back foot on the ground and try to kick yourself in the butt. That might be the closest thing to a shove it that we have. Hey, Nifty. Thanks for the tier 1. Much love. 247 Rice. Yeah, we stream a lot nowadays, actually. I have a big streaming background on my personal channels. I'm a video game fiend. But if we're honest, you guys want skate tips. You don't want to watch me be terrible at Valorant or play Rocket League till 4 in the morning and not know how to rotate. We'll touch on tray flips later. I have no problem doing tray flips later. Mikester, we do talk a lot about leveling out ollies, actually. I think the content is out there. You might just have to dig through all our stuff to find it. Or check out our Art of Popping program. That is like A to Z. Yeah, teaching skateboarding is hard. Skateboarding is one of the hardest sports in the world. No doubt about that. I was at home on my computer this morning looking at the start screen of Tom's part, but it's 7 minutes long and I had to come here to do this, and I just wanted to be able to enjoy it fully. The best transition skater ever just dropped a 7-minute long part. Rotten asked a great question. Do you think it's harder to teach skateboarding or to learn it? And I feel like the answer has to be learn it. Or I'm just not a very good teacher. Those are the two options. because teaching is very difficult. Teaching is not just laying out the facts. Teaching involves people, knowing how people work, knowing when to be specific and analytical, and knowing when to say things like, jump to the moon, you got this one. If skateboarding was easy to learn, then I feel like more people would be good at it, to be honest. Skateboarding is very, very, very difficult. It's not like math. It's not like the basic, it's not like school. You can't just learn what to do theoretically and then go do it. There are these nuanced things where you have to be able to pick the board up and move it around and deal with speed and fear and so many different environments. It's just, skateboarding is damn near impossible. I can't believe we can do it at all. And a lot of the teaching, now that I'm more experienced as a teacher, a lot of the teaching is support and making it simpler than it really is. At first, I was under the impression that teaching was telling people exactly what they could do with their body to make the thing happen. But that's not how people work. You can't think about a series of positions and then do it unless you're incredibly talented and you understand that, okay, I learn positions and then I feel the momentum and then I can turn that side of my brain off that is processing all that and I can just do it without thinking. It's incredibly rare to find an athlete like that who is coachable and who's at a stage where the small tip with an ollie or a kickflip or a board slide will really make a wild difference in their career. I think the easiest things to teach are pushing, turning. Pumping is actually pretty easy to teach nowadays. It was very, 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 very difficult at first, but I made it make sense, and I feel like when I'm in a position where I'm teaching a student how to pump, they usually get it within the hour. Also, it takes just as long to teach as it takes to learn, and I didn't really respect that the same way that I do now. If you want to learn something, it's gonna take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, that's fine. Think about it like this. Let's say there's 4 main pieces to a good pump on vert. That's not very much. It's just a few things. But now you got to deal with fear because you're on vert. So let's say you're only used to going halfway up. Let's say we take 10 minutes and we cover the first thing, and you get to practice it, and you get to learn it. That all happened in 10 minutes. That's incredibly fast to learn a new skill. But the pump works. Now you're going faster than you've ever gone. So what? Do we just stack on thing 2 before we get used to the new speed? It's like, no. Now we got to apply this thing that you learned with a little bit more speed. Then you get habituated. Then you add thing number 2, and boom, there it is again. You have more power, a little more speed, and you're on a vert ramp and you're not used to it. Now you got to work in your kick turns with your pump. So like something simple like pumping back and forth and doing kick turns, depending on your skill level, like that could be easily a 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours of dialing it in. So then it turns into backside airs or lip tricks really nicely. Like, learning is hard, teaching is hard, both take a lot of patience, and the important thing as a teacher is to understand the student's path and give them confidence when they're doing the right thing, and stop them when they're going down a rabbit hole that I don't think is a good idea, and just have the confidence to say, hey, when your foot gets into that spot, be very wary. Maybe just reset and start fresh and get your foot position better in your setup on your drop-in. You know, something simple like that. I think that's really where the good teaching lies. Trying to get habituated. All right, let's land on our Shuvits so we can move on to some fun stuff. Let's address this problem now in Shuvits because we're going to cover it in kickflips. And this is one of those things. As a teacher, I have to be... I get to work on my empathy with you guys, because how often do you hear someone say, hey, I can only land one foot on the board, how do I fix that? And I'm gonna be honest, it drives me a little crazy, because I doubt that you guys are doing this. Oh, I can only land my back foot on. How do I fix it? It never looks like that. Do you know what it looks like? Is, oh, I can only land one foot on the board. What am I doing? It's like, dude, your back foot got this far off the ground ever. Like, there's nothing anybody can do to get your back foot on the board. If you jumped with your back foot lower than your starting point, like you're starting on the board, you're like 4 or 5 inches off the ground. Then you watch the clip and your back foot only goes down. Like it never comes up in the air. So there's just a huge piece of logic missing in the equation of your flip tricks. And the sooner you accept that, the easier it will be for you to make your tricks one day. Landing on top of the board requires you to jump. And you know what? I just thought of it. I just thought of the all-time kickflip drill. I gotta write it down. Okay, let's imagine that there's a ledge. I know we're doing Shuvits, but I just want to save this on camera so I don't forget. Let's imagine that there's a ledge where I'm standing. What if you were to try a kickflip and land on top of the ledge with both your feet? Leave your board on the ground. So now you're standing on the ledge that's this high. That's a great drill. I'm going to do that. Okay. So when I say pick your feet up, right, again, then it just switches to the front foot. The reality is, skateboarding's terrifying. And when you do your flip tricks, you're going to have to jump that high. And you're going to have to float over top of your board and search for your board in the air with your feet. Okay? If your feet are running into the ground, you are not jumping. End of story. For you, it's going to feel like you have to jump as high as you can as you go through the timing and the balance and the foot position and the momentum and all that stuff. Yes, my feet were only this high, but my feet were that high in the air on a straight leg jump. That's a real jump. That's a real jump, dude. Because if I bend my knees, right, if I jump this high and I bend my knees, now they're all the way up here. It's a real jump. So to land on the board, what we're gonna do is imagine our front truck's coming around. I want you to see it, okay? Unless you can't visualize the apple, you know that thing that's like when aphantasia came out? When they're like, can you rotate the apple? Can you take a bite out of the apple? Can you get the apple? Can you put it in rain? Okay? If you can't, if you have a visual brain and you can see that, I want you to see your back trucks coming into frame. Because those will be turning into your front trucks. Your front foot is going to be out here, and you're just going to follow where those front trucks are going and put your front foot right on the bolts. And when you jump really high, you're going to have to search for a while in the air, but then you'll find it. And then land with soft knees. This is a very intuitive way to think about it, but this is one of the problems that I run into as a teacher, honestly, because I've been skating for so long, that I know if I throw my board and I throw my body up over top of the board, I can just track it and then land on it, okay? When I was a kid, I spent hours going out of flyouts and just flipping my board as much as I could and trying to land on it. Trampoline skating. Switch 1.5 flips to Casper to all this stuff. I've just done it so much. I know what I try to put myself over my board. That's the big difference between me and you, probably, is that I try to put myself over the top of my board and then deal with it. When you have trouble landing on it, probably just not throwing yourself over top of it, because it's dangerous and scary, and you might land primo and you're going to catch shinners, and that's how it works. Thank you for clipping that, Hash Muffin. I appreciate that. Greetings, Adalberto. For chat. I'm sorry. That's the way of the road, brother. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Building foot-eye coordination. There are great ways to build foot-eye coordination, okay? Number one is jump and land on your board. Like over and over and over and over and over and over, right? Like you need to be able to float and to kick your feet around and to kick your board around and land on top of it. The next thing you need to find is the minimum effort for maximum results, right? A lot of times people can't even do like a hand ollie like that. You don't understand how the board actually works. You're trying way too hard to get it to do something that it's just not going to happen. The visual of getting it to flip and land on it also takes predictive skill. If you've only spun 100 Shuvits, you haven't connected the feel of your back foot to the what's real, meaning where the board is going to be. I'm not going to do a shove it with my eyes closed, but if I needed to, I probably could. I could probably do kickflips and shuvits with my eyes closed if I really needed. Tray flips, I would actually have to practice for a couple of days probably, and then I might be able to land one, because as soon as I take off, you just know where that board is going to be. That will help your coordination, right? It's not like you're purely reading and reacting, you're predicting and reacting. That's a better way to put it. All right, Shuvits feel good. Shuvits feel good. The latest videos have been really helpful. That's great. Our YouTube is popping off right now. I think we pulled 600,000 views across shorts and videos and lives within the last 48 hours. And that is thanks to you guys, and that is huge. That lets us work on YouTube even more. I'm super down for it. Okay, so we're good on Shuvits. I'm gonna do a couple just so you guys can watch and learn. Watch and learn, baby. Watch and learn. I'm always fearful that I'm just gonna eat absolute crow. I think I could probably do 1,000 of these in a row. What's the record for kickflips? 1,500 straight? That's crazy. I was trying 100 straight the other day and I couldn't get past, I think, 27. Yeah, rotten. Brad, that is great. You're finding the content helpful. I'm just reading chat in the shade, to be honest. See you, Penguin. Much love. Thanks for coming to the stream. Mike Mo is the best. Mike Mo's just the best. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, it's absolutely heartbreaking what happened to him. He was just on a path to stardom. I'm sure that's been very difficult for him. He seems like he's in a really good place now. But I mean, he was just the best Flatground skater, tech street, like best style, most consistent, great work ethic, nice guy, someone that you could really look up to. You can really still look up to him. That one hurt. Yeah, that one really hurt when he hurt his ankle. He hurt his ankle so bad that, I mean, his career was basically over. I can't believe it. That one hurts. All right. Let's talk about kick flippies. Kicky flippies. Hey, Charlie. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch and you want that ad-free viewing experience, make sure you drop a tier 1 or a Prime sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. Gives you ad-free viewing, and it's also a great way to support us because it's no money out of your pocket. And we get a sub. All right, so let's look at this kickflip program really quick. Flipping the board, leg motion, and then flipping the board, foot motion. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I never really thought about my feet. I've never been, I wouldn't say I was ever the world's greatest kick flipper, but I've done a lot of flip tricks in a lot of contests. Vert is just a little bit different than Flatground. So my technique that I built for vert skating worked very well for me for a lot of years. But it's very focused on the leg movements and very much not focused on the foot movements, which, check out these New Balances. I just unboxed them maybe for 20 minutes before this stream, and they feel so good. And they look cool. They got like the racing stripes. I'm just like, these are the best shoes I've ever worn. And this is not a paid promotion. Hopefully one day it is. And I'll tell you guys immediately. We'll put a little thing in the corner that says, this live stream contains a paid promotion. That would be awesome. But no, this is just, I'm just live, blown away by the feel of these shoes immediately. I feel like I could not skate vert in them because of this mesh up top. I would blast through that with knee slides in a day. But, woo, these are looking and feeling fresh. The reason leg motion is important to me is because this is what gives you space to do a kickflip. So when you're going fast and high and far, like if you want to do a kickflip over mega ramp, or you want to do a kickflip going 7 feet high on a big quarter pipe, and maybe it's windy, and maybe you want to go alley-oop, and also you want to make sure you catch it, so you want to flip it a bit slower, you know, legs, that's in the big body parts. Okay, all that slow motion, confirm the flick, all that stuff happens with your big limbs. The tight little flicks and the fast kick flips and using the rail and kicking it off the nose. That's all this toe and ankle and real like flick motion that's in the feet. Okay, and when I was trying 100 kick flips in a row, which I've never done before, which I'd highly recommend you try it, because I spent 45 minutes trying kickflips and I got much better at them than I was at the start of the session. I started being very focused on those big leg movements, but obviously that's exhausting. Then I moved a little more to the foot motions, and I actually learned a lot about how the board flips, and for a second I felt pretty stupid. So I'm like, oh, that's very obvious that, you know, I can just set my feet up a little more on the board and just focus on really finding the nose with that foot and really just literally trying to drag my toe up the board. You know, that's really nice. But alas, we're going to start with the leg motion because I believe that is the foundation. Let's look at where this nose is. Okay, if I'm on the board back here, let's say I like to spread my feet out a little bit more for kickflips. Even though it feels uncomfortable in the setup, I find them to be more consistent. I have to work on them more, but that's where I'm at right now. So if I got my feet set up for a kickflip and I push on the tail, look at where the nose is. Nose comes all the way up to my back leg. So how am I going to find this nose? Let's say we want to do our kickflip from here. Okay, I set my foot up, even if I set it up a little bit lower than I generally do, and I want to do my kickflip from here. If I lift my front foot straight up, okay, I'm already past the nose. So I need my front foot back here, so then I can do a kickflip from there. Same with ollies, right? So this leg motion is going to involve, I believe that's called internal rotation. I don't really know. I just think about putting my back foot towards my back shoulder. Okay? I tend to try to lift my knee pretty straight. Sometimes, if I'm really struggling, I'll lift my knee towards my center line, and then my back foot will come across like this. Okay? This very tight position, like Spider-Man. is very nice. Okay, that's the leg motion. That feels good. You can do that slowly, effectively, and consistently. And when you're going really high, you can find the nose in the air and then you can push on it. That's great. It also brings that board up really close to you. So if you flip it, let's say for a kickflip indie, or if you want to do like a high no grab kickflip, you can get it high and tight, then flip it slow, and then catch it soft. It's all very important for vert. On Flatground, that looks, I'm not going to try to make this one because I want to show the example. That looks very slow, smooth, high, and floaty. That's great because that lets you watch the board flip, right? And you can easily flip it up into your hand. You can do a lot of great things with your kickflip that show you great feel. You gotta have pretty mobile hips though. Like you're gonna have to be able to pick up your leg super high and super fast to get it into that position. You're also gonna have to have a great feel for your front foot up against the nose to flatten out the board, right? Because if you don't, then you just miss or it rockets or all this stuff, right? So you're gonna have this feel with your front foot in the air to flatten it out. Okay, I'm gonna take questions just on the leg motion right now, because I want this to be very focused. Jacob, throw that Prime sub, you get ad-free, bro. Just focus on leg movement. When I push on it, it pushes into the ground. Yes. Yes, boom. That is a great question. So let's say this hand, my right hand, is my foot. And I pop the board up into the air, and now I got my foot on the nose. If I push down towards the ground at all, that whole board will go down. And I'll show you by pushing on it like this. There is no way that anything is ever going to happen. We want to use the momentum of the board coming into the air, right? And we want to take our front foot and we want to lift it up through the nose, up top, right? So if I get my nose up into my hand, then I'm going to lift it up through the top to flatten it out. Flattening out is a lifting motion. It is not a pushing motion. If you push on the board, the whole board will move down and away from you. So your front leg up top gets here, and then your knee actually continues to rise through the flick. So it's up and in and up and out. And that gives you that really nice position up top. I'm doing good, David, Olivia. Yeah, we'll touch on heel flips in a minute. I would avoid doing kick flips with the bottom of your foot. It is not going to be rocket local. It is not going to be rocket. Because, look, I can see the concern that if you lift back and then lift up, there's nothing that flattens it out. Right? This is rocket. This is the rocket concern. But there's also this piece where with your back foot, if you just push the board backwards a little bit, that will swing your tail backwards this way, and you're not going to rock it from there. Right? Like, I can ollie land on the nose and get my front foot to come up over center and back down. There's no way you can tell me that's a rocket. That's basically an ollie north, right? So that's that front leg. That's that front leg motion. Boom was saying that It's basically just an ollie out in front. Like, it's not flipping. It just goes. I don't even know how. I actually don't know how you're not flipping it by doing that. I might have to see that example to know what you mean. Okay, that's great leg motion work. Let's see, because there was 2 great questions. Let's just make sure there's no more. The same motion applies to moving ollies. Yes. There's a couple interesting questions that are going to be hard to tackle. One was like, it doesn't flip. It just, like, I feel like it gets stuck to the front foot and I just launch it forward. You honestly might just need more feel for your feet on the board. You might just have to work on your ollies. You might have to work on your hand ollies. You might have to work on your ollie land on nose. Maybe even no pop half flips to get that, to feel that. Like, I don't know technically, like, if it's not flipping, you might be pushing down. I mean, your front foot's probably too far up on the nose, like, meaning your toe is like off the toe side instead of the heel side. There's all sorts of things that could be happening. They rotate. Yeah, I have 2 phones, an iPad, and 2 cameras, and 2 backpacks. It's pretty crazy. I actually have 3 phones because the dude at T-Mobile messed up. I have 3 phones right now, and that's pretty crazy. I already forgot the question. My bad. Oh, it rotates. Rotating's the hardest problem to solve. You said you're goofy and it rotates to the right, which is front side, which is a lot more rare. I think that's actually an easier problem to solve than it rotating backside. I would say if it's rotating backside, just try and kick more directly in front of you, like down the line that you're skating. Okay, if you're kicking way out over here, it's probably just rotating. If it's rotating backside, which is a harder problem to solve, I found from chat that turning your back foot backwards helps stop it from rotating backside. If you turn your back foot this way. That's all leg motion stuff. Not Jacob, we're just doing kickflips right now. We have so much ollie content. We're gonna do ollie focused streams, but I just want to focus on kickflip. Hey, Smirk. No problem, bro. No problem. All right. So we got a lot of back foot questions, which I really appreciate because I just neglect the back foot. Like, is what it is. The front foot gets all the love in skating, and I think the back foot is where all the magic happens, but it's just so ingrained in there that I really only realized what my back foot does by learning switch and by studying video. It's not something I could feel, which is crazy because I have really good feel for what my body is doing, and usually I can put it into words pretty easily. I cannot feel my back foot. It is doing something magical back there to make all these tricks happen. And that's crazy to admit. Because the back foot is so important that I wish I had better feel for it. And actually, if I focus on my back foot more than my front through the pop, my tricks get better. But it's not like I can focus on it like I know exactly what's happening. I just feel like, okay, make sure you put your back foot in a good spot and you do the right thing with it. That's what I think, which is so insane because there is no other part of my body that works like that. I know exactly what I'm trying to do with my front foot. I can roll through 5-6 different positions in a trick and it feels good, it feels fine. Shoulders, hips, rotate, jump. My back foot is like this weird, mystical thing that just does all the hard work without me noticing. So you're setting the height of the flick. That was the question. I really like this question because it references a video that we did in the past where, you know, you set the height of the flick with your front foot, which is just very true. Okay, your board will only go as high as your front foot. That's just how it works. What I find helpful when I'm skating switch to get my pops higher is when I bend my knee, when I bend my back knee, I let my back knee go to the inside. So that lets me push on my back foot back and away from me, and it really helps me avoid hitting my back foot on the ground when I'm popping. And it also avoids the tail skipping across the ground and helps it get up into the air, right? If I push my back foot like forward, that tail skips along the ground. If I pull it backwards, now that tail wants to come up in the air. So the best I can do for you is a really strong foot position and get your knee inside of your foot. And don't be afraid to feel like that board wants to shift backwards and then come up into position. Okay? I don't visualize ollies like, oh, I'm just picking this thing straight up in the air. I visualize ollies like they actually fall behind me a little bit and then come up into center. Back foot is very nuanced though, in foot position, in strategy and strength and timing and all these things. And unfortunately, we don't have real data about what the back foot is really doing. We don't have pressure plates on the boards. We don't have pressure plates on the ground. We don't have things like ratio from the pressure into the tail to the height of the pop, or like what a good zone would be. This is data that I would love to gain, that I would love to capture, because not for you guys, but for me. Like, I can't just give you data. I can't just give you spreadsheets of data and you're like, oh, you can ollie now. But I feel like I'm a numbers guy, and when you can see the numbers, it makes it a lot easier to teach. Because right now it's just all a guessing game, and I have to guess what is happening back there, because when I'm busy doing the trick, there's no way for me to really tell. And it feels like I'm doing something and I'm really doing something else, and then I go try it switch and it doesn't work, and back to the drawing board. Thanks, Queen. I love this hat. Smirk, I would love some coffee. Oh my God. It is coffee time. Damn. I did have coffee today. Aw, Alex, I'm sorry. Broken arm. Skate is a mystery. Okay, so that feels pretty good. That feels very good. I like where we're at. I feel like we're all on the same page here. And we're not in a huge rush. All right, that's the leg motion. That's the pop. That's how you get your board in the air. Hey, that's the back foot. See if I can do an ollie north. All right, now let's talk about the actual foot flicking. And to practice this, we're going to keep our kickflips very low. That first drill was to get them high and slow and like you can read them and react to them. Now let's keep them low and faster. All right, so the first drill that you can do is just the no pop flick. Okay, can you pick your nose up this high and get your board to flip? I know you can. I don't know if you know you can. That easy. Okay, you don't have to hit your tail for your board to flip. And you can make those. You can actually make those kickflips. A little scary, but you can make those kickflips. You don't actually have to hit your tail. Surprise. That always blows people away. Let's let that one sit for a second. See what you guys have to say about that. Why the trick is great science of skating, and he's so smart, and I never knew about the channel, and I had some hot takes on how ollies work and why everybody's wrong about sliding your foot and all this stuff, and I went to his channel like a year later and he says all the same things. I thought that was great. Peyton, I'm not going to remember that. I'm sorry. Your name is Alexandra on YouTube, and it's going to be hard to remember that your real name is Peyton. So the ankle flick is a lot different than the leg flip. It seems like you guys are actually leaning towards the leg flip being your preferred method, that you like it more. It's a different technique, that your ankle feels like you're gonna sprain your ankle every time that you do it, that you do with the ankle flip. And I'm here to tell you that we want a combination of both without leaning too much on either. Because if you do all leg, that's gonna take a lot of energy. If you do all ankle, that puts a lot of tension on your ankle. So when we look at the ankle flip, it's not actually about maximum roll. You only really have to push like the bottom of your pinky toe into your board. Okay, you only got to roll it like a little bit. Okay, then when you move your foot up through the grip tape will actually catch your shoe and tip your ankle over more. You're not like rolling your ankle down, like hyperextending it and then flicking super hard. You can actually flick it pretty light with a very little ankle roll. The reason that I want to focus on the feet is because if you focus on sliding your foot through the nose in a really good spot, the board will flip. Okay? But let's say you're stuck behind it, like those examples, and you want to get over it. It might help to involve your legs a little bit in your pop. Now when we get a nice combination of both of these things, now we got a sick kickflip. That thing feels so nice. This is one of the best kickflips I've ever done. It didn't hurt at all. It didn't hurt my hip. It didn't hurt my ankle. Nothing. Because I'm going toe through the grip tape, but I'm also pulling both feet up and back, and I'm just sending that toe through the grip tape. We're happy. We're happy. Good morning, Faiza. Yeah, that makes sense that your tray flips would have less ankle roll than a kick flip. Makes perfect sense. Hill bombing can be very dangerous. I'm with you local. Some people really like it though. I would definitely not recommend skating into cars. Pig, actually, I'm not much onto really like dipping or styling out tricks that much. I feel like that is not, those tips aren't really applicable to everyone, and there isn't like one way to do anything. So it's like, it's just hard for me to teach something very specifically. Like, hey, do a kickflip that looks like this. I like to teach the concepts and then let you guys take the shapes that work for you. If your kickflips are rotating, if you just turn your back foot backwards as a starting point, that might help keep it straighter. When the board flips and shoots out from underneath you forward, that is that thing where you just have to pull that board backwards through takeoff, and you can also work on ollie landing on the nose and then do that same thing for your kickflip. Triple flippus. Johnny, I went on an absolute rant earlier about getting your back foot on the board after the kickflip. You should definitely rewind it and check that out. And it's an absolute rant. In full disclosure, I'm pretty harsh on it. I'm pretty harsh on that subject. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be more patient. I'm trying to be more empathetic. But I find the logic to be so backwards and upside down, generally, when you're struggling getting your back foot on. For chat, ankle mobility exercises, it's like, just hit the gym. Seriously. Squats, calves, it just gets stronger everywhere. Hey, Smirculator. Thank you, I'm happy you're getting better. How are you doing?
Good, I got my computer's like dying. I gotta go pick up my
Do you want to say bye? Meet our producer. He's been in his car the whole time, running the show behind the scenes. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Let me know
if you need the power bank, you can grab it. But if you gotta go run, if you gotta run, that's fine.
Thanks, actually, that would work. Computer's more important. Is the spare in here?
Yep, it might be in the back top pocket.
Yeah, that'll work.
Cool. Hey, Ty. Jacob says that dude is huge. He says thank you. That'll get him through the next 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months, you'll be fine. You'll be fine for the next like 4 or 5 months now.
That'll carry for a while.
Yeah, that'll get us to Christmas. Yeah, so I've been live streaming for a couple of weeks now. Not a long time. We just got a great live stream set up, and live streaming is a place that's very close to my heart. Any other tips for not rotating backside? Why rock it? Okay. Animosa says, hey, I really love your content. I was wondering if you have any tips for ollies. I've been practicing ollies over stuff, but I keep landing on my nose. That is not a terrible problem to have, that you're landing on your nose, actually. This specific live stream, we're going to be covering a lot of the more flip trick stuff. We'll have an ollie dedicated live stream. I think that will be on Thursday or Wednesday. I have it saved in my Google Doc. I don't have it published as scheduled, but keep an eye out. We're going to try to publish that schedule. No, for chat, yeah. So what you want to do yeah, the live streams, like, dude, I'm a good skateboarder. Let's get something out of the way now, because like I'm a good skateboarder and I'm a decent flatground skater. I was a great vert competitor. That's a very different thing. There were always guys on the ramp who had more tricks than me, who had better looking tricks than me, who had more lip tricks, more frontside tricks, and arguably were more consistent at a lot of the basic fundamental tricks like kickflip indies and stuff. I could spin like no other. I had some really incredibly hard technical tricks that I could do on demand, and I made my runs under pressure for 15 years straight. That is what I would say that I was great at. And the reason I say great is because 14 or 15 X Games medals and like many other competitions on the podium. I only won 3 times. But second and third, I could do pretty much reliably for like a span of those like 6 or 7 years. But when you're looking at like kickflips on Flatground, I've never been the greatest at like kickflips and tray flips. It's not what I practice all the time. I never had these buttery 1-foot catches. I can't skate like a big down rail, you know, like I have these glaring weaknesses in my skating. But yeah, normal skater in an environment like this. I have good feel and I can actually do pretty good manuals. Like if I needed to do like switch ollie fakie manual fakie flip, it would take me a while, but I could probably muster it up. Or even like switch manual switch flip, even though I've never done one. If you gave me the day, I could probably make it happen, right? But those are my skills. Those are my weaknesses. That's just real. That's what life is like. And the goat of teaching. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that a ton. What? Austin, they call me a ballerina? I'd like a word. Oh, and I did a 1260. I forgot I did a 1260. That's funny. Do I have a background in teaching? No, I don't. 1260 nuke. Yeah, I definitely nuked them with a 12. That is for sure. That's probably the reason that Skate IQ exists. Do I have a background in teaching? No, I don't. But I'm very obsessive with learning. I'm very obsessive with learning. So like, I have, fun fact, I have like 1,000 skydives, and I have like 300 hours in a wind tunnel, you know, like those iFly indoor skydiving things where you're like floating around and flying and, you know, doing like all these flips and stuff. Also, I really like golfing. And these things take a lot of coaching. Like, you just have to get coaching to get better at them. So I've been coached a lot. And I'm pretty hard on my coaches, to be honest. Because, like, I'm a smart guy and pretty talented. So, like, if I have questions that you can't answer, or if I feel like as a coach you're talking too much, or you're over explaining it, or you're not giving me space to learn, or I ask you something and you don't know the answer, so you start answering another question, like that bothers me a lot. Or you're talking in my swing, or you don't trust me to learn it. Like, it's just hard to find good coaches. And I feel like I have found 2 or 3 really good coaches in things that I like to do in my life, and I just model myself after them. I mean, 100%. That's just how it works. There's elements of coaches that I've had in other sports that I just really look up to, and that made me feel like I was the greatest student of all time. And I try to capture that feeling and give it to you guys. And it comes out in mannerisms, it comes out in patience, it comes out in technique, it comes out in the way that I point at my hips, or the way that I'm pointing where I'm going. It's really a big game of copycat with things that really worked for me. Plus, I have feel for a skateboard, which they didn't have, so kind of morphing that into my own style of teaching. Teaching for me is a lot about the person and, eye contact and taking one baby step further and just drilling it into them that like one baby step is all you can take, and that is great. That is phenomenal. If you can take a baby step every day or every time you step on your skateboard, like, you will be great. You will accomplish the things that you want to. And yeah, logically also, I feel like I understand skateboarding a little bit differently than most. Like, the explanations of tricks always bothered me because they don't work. They just don't work. Like, dude, if you slid your front foot when you ollie, everyone would be able to ollie. It's just not how it works, because most people can't ollie. And when you say slide their front foot, it doesn't make any sense. And I've never met a great skateboarder who's like coming up on a 12-stair down rail that's just like, ooh, I'm really nervous, but as long as I slide my front foot, I'll be okay. It's like, no, nobody thinks like that. Nobody talks like that. Like, can we move on? Like, I want pumping to make sense, and I want ollies to make sense. Ugh. Yeah, so that's my background in teaching. I'm playing to about a 12 right now, black, in golf. But honestly, like, I was decent with my mid irons. I couldn't chip or get off the tee. I've had some really good lessons lately. Now I actually have some confidence that I can get off the tee box and keep it in play. Last time I played, I hit 11 greens, which is pretty good. I just had a terrible round of chipping and shot 11 over. So that's not very good for 11 greens. But honestly, I feel like my game's there, and I could get up and down a lot more. I haven't been able to play a lot. I feel like I could get up and down a lot more the next time I play and avoid those 2 lost balls that I have. So that easily turns into a 78, to be honest. Muscle, yeah, I mean, you got to be strong to skate. There's no other way around it. Like, if you're weak, if you got weak legs, you can't jump, your ankles are frail, and you're, out of shape, it's going to be really hard. Skateboarding takes a lot of strength. I like the barracks. I have nothing against the barracks. I don't know what I would do there, but participate in what, but I'd be happy to. Hawaiian duck, that's a great point. Don't focus on the jump. Focus mainly on bringing your knees to your chest. That is what I do. That's the way I think about it. But that is just a feel, because I can jump pretty high. So if you can't jump, you might have to focus on jumping. I would love to do freestyle content, but I don't know how to do any freestyle tricks. I can think of some people that I would love to have on the show that we could do some freestyle together. He could teach me. There we go. Pete, what's up with the Prime sub on Twitch? My guy. Okay. So let's cover that back flip motion on the kickflip. So where exactly should your foot be on the tail? And let's just try some things and talk about it. I'm not going to say like right or wrong or whatever. Okay, let me put my backpack in the shade. Are we going to do egg time on this stream? We might be able to do egg time, bro. Okay, so back foot. Let's put it towards the heel side, see what happens. Weak pop, didn't get in the air. So I don't like that. I don't like the back foot sitting too far over here. Anything where I feel like if I push into my back foot and it makes the board turn, I personally don't like it. Remember I was talking about my background on vert? Yeah, well, I'm going like 15 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour or something. I'm making that up. I don't know. But if I push into my back foot and that board starts turning, that's going to be a huge problem. I'm basically bombing a hill. So I have to stand with my foot more in the center of the tail. Build that preference over time. Okay, now for the sneaky one. Let's try it way back on the tail. Timing feels a little weird and the board ended up sitting behind me. Now we can drop it down on the tail a little bit. That's just the best spot. I mean, it's just the best spot. Back foot in the center of the tail with some space everywhere on the grip tape. So like your toe side is not on the rail. The left side of your shoe isn't too close to the tail. Like that gets you in a great spot. That also naturally wants to bend your knee down to the inside a little bit because when you're all the way back there, for some reason you want to be like this, but when you're down on the tail, it drags your knee inside, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just a feel, but I feel like it's more unnatural to try and stand like this, where back on the end of the tail that feels natural. So that I really like. These are 440s, dude. They're just fresh. Check them out. Look at them. They're so cool. They're so cool. I mean, are you kidding me? These things are like the coolest shoes I've ever had. If you actually struggle with getting your board to flip, my favorite drill, the one that is very difficult to do, but seems to be pretty useful, is just do a manual, roll your front ankle over, and push on your board. Push down on your nose, and then jump. Incredibly difficult, I understand. But this will show you the tension that you need on your front foot up against the nose, and then you pick your front foot up, you pick the nose up into that tension, and it wants to flip. People have a lot of trouble when they feel like no tension against the board at all, and they're just like floating up over it and kicking at it. We want this position where this board is coming up into us while we have that tension, and then we can just let it go. That kickflip was so good. That kickflip was so good. Hash muffins, can you save that for us? see what happens when you focus on tension? Then the board wants to flip. Skating makes your legs so strong. Tom, I don't know. We're trying to figure out our schedule for the end of the year. We hope to go to New Zealand because we just love it there. But we're really focusing on content, the lives, the YouTube. Like, our YouTube is growing, and long term, we really need that to be our biggest spot, our biggest part of this this whole thing. So I would love to do camp in New Zealand. If we can make it happen, we will. Kickflip with your pinky toe. That's genius, pig. Aim small, miss small. And this is actually something that I've been doing lately, and I couldn't put it into words. I'm feeling like I start the kickflip with my pinky toe, and I actually end it with my big toe. I don't. It stays on the pinky toe, but I put my pinky toe into the grip tape, and then I try and finish it with that big toe at the end. That helps me avoid this feeling where I dive out of it. If I keep it on the pinky, I tend to get a little bit over there, which is funny because that's just so stupid. But if I feel like I start it with my pinky toe and then I can end it with my big toe, for some reason, that motion right there really makes it flip nicely. Minneapolis, if Tyler's still listening, you can drop the link for it. May 18th, 19th weekend, but I actually forget. NZ plus Australia is like our favorite trip a year. We've done that in the last 2 years. It's so amazing. Skaters are probably better boxers than football players. What does that mean? Does that mean skaters are better at boxing than football players are better at boxing? Or does that mean skaters would be better at boxing than playing football? I grew up playing football, but I also know a little bit about boxing. No, heel flips are next. Holy smokes. Mulius Caesar with a prime sub. That's a funny name, dude. Mulius Caesar. And then anonymous gifter gifting 5 subs to the community. That's huge. We appreciate that one a lot. Dude, we got that ad-free viewer experience for a lot of you guys now. I really appreciate that. So, let's keep talking about kickflips. We're going to do heel flips next. Why would you want to flip a kickflip slow? Like, realistically, I know all you guys think that kickflips are about kickflipping fast enough so the board gets all the way around before you land back on the ground. That's all you can think about in your brains. But once you realize that kickflips are actually easy to flip, they're just hard to learn how to flip, then you have to spend time slowing down your flip. You want to flip your kickflip slow so you can have better rhythm and better timing. You want to flip your kickflip slow so you can make more adjustments throughout your flip. When you're going down something like a 5-stair, you don't want to just flip to oblivion. You want to be able to aim that board exactly where you want. And while it's flipping, you want to be able to watch it and then catch and then set it down. The bigger you go, the faster you go, the slower you gotta move. If you're only worried about speed, you're gonna do things that would make the board flip faster, but not actually gain consistency. Okay, if you just want to flip the board fast, you're going to kick really hard. We don't need that. I want you to use both of your feet to flip the board. That is a reel. That's a reel right there. You're using both of your feet together to flip the board. You're not just kicking with your front foot. So if you're too focused on flipping it fast, kid just did a sick, like he tried to, I don't know what he was trying. It looked like he was trying to tray flip, but he caught it like halfway accidentally and then it went down. If you're just trying to flip it too fast, you're going to prioritize the wrong things. Float, feel the nose, flip it slow, and use both of your feet to flip the board. Move your back foot away to get that thing into your nose. And man, that's cool. You're going to have to dance with it with both feet throughout the kickflip. This is like, dude, my brain just turned into soup because I got so excited about that tip. You're gonna see some coaching reels. You're gonna see everything. We don't have anyone's first kickflip on film yet, and I think that tip mixed with the landing on the ledge tip will get it there. Hey, we actually thought about that, Harry Potter. 5 easy tricks to give letter in a game escape. We actually thought about that same exact thing. See you, Mark. Peace. Much love. That's cool. Okay, so we covered landing on Shuvits, and it's the same thing for landing on kickflips. Like, the feel for everyone is going to be different, but you're going to have to be able to jump. If you're sending your foot at the ground as you do the flick, go watch yourself on video and see actually your highest point on your back foot. Okay? If you're ending up like this, your back foot never came in the air. So one thing that you can do is maybe just like draw a line on your video and see the height of your nose and then try to get your back foot the same height as your nose. Try to get both of your feet up in the air as high as you can. I mean, seriously. That's going to be a combination of jumping and picking up your legs. You got to be above the board. When you imagine the flick out above the nose with your back foot up here. So your back foot actually could be higher than your front foot, but your front foot still flicks out above the nose. That'll keep your feet over the board. Yeah, dual wielding is funny. Hey, Emo Tarzan. Welcome back. Okay, let's touch on kickflips a little bit. Hey, Christian. Good afternoon. Yeah, we got a live stream rolling. But you can, no worries, you can say hi. That's totally fine. Skate wherever. So, let's get the elephant out of the room. Is that what they say? No, address the elephant in the room. Let's kick the elephant out of the room. I don't know much about heel flips. And I wanted to test some things. So the first thing that I do with a heel flip to fix this problem, where that board ends up spinning and getting behind you, the way that I fix that is just by bending over my back foot a little bit more and feeling like I want to sit in the chair off the heel side. And I can jump backwards. That makes it very easy. I mean, if we just think about it like, can you jump backwards from that position? It gets very simple. If I just push into my back foot, get my butt to sit off that heel side. Now I can jump backwards very easily. It's that simple. If I can jump backwards, I can keep that board in front of me. Hey, what's up, Columbia? So that's a big tip for me. The thing that I wanted to try today was, I mean, do I want to flick with my heel up off of the nose, which is always how I've thought about it, or do I want to flick the heel flip with my toe, which I can't see this working, but I've heard it enough times from enough people on the interwebs where I'm like, you know, let's address this one. Let's see. So I'm going to try to use my pinky toe to flip this. I mean, it flipped great. A lot of pressure on the heel. I'm nervous to try to land on it because I can't really predict it. Oh, and on top of that, I heard to put the front foot up by the nose during the setup. So it's two things. Front foot really high and flick with your pinky toe. I mean, that's a lot of pressure in the flick. Like, that's a lot of pressure in the flick. I mean, I felt that all the way into my foot. And look at the nose. I mean, my kickflips are all over here. You see how light that is? Look at that. That almost took grip tape off. So, feels like it's a bit too much pressure for me. But now we got to think about it. Okay, like, what if, since I've been flicking with my heel, am I just pushing into the nose too much? Because my habits are based on flicking with my heel. So now I'm going to try to keep my front foot, I'm going to try to flick lighter on the nose. Yeah, see, that makes more sense. Now my front foot has got to take a little bit different direction. I'm going to lift my front foot up this way, out in front of me, instead of diving it through the nose. So you can see this new flick is a little bit different. It's still a heavy flick, but seems like it's a little bit better. And you can see, here's proof that I am using more of my toe. You can see right here, that is not off of the heel. I'm flicking it from here. I think it's better than flicking it off of the heel. I still find it's a lot of pressure into my foot. Like, I'm actually scraping up my foot. But it feels like it flips pretty good. So I'm okay with that. We started with shoves, Mooney. Toe, then heel. Well, I'm not really thinking about my heel at all. Like, when I think about when I'm trying to isolate a part of the foot, I'm like, okay, which part runs into the nose? And I always tried to run my heel into the nose, which works for me. They're a little inconsistent, but it works. Where instead of running my heel, if I like that ball of my foot, if I run that part into the nose, it actually flicks a lot heavier, meaning I get more feedback from the board and it feels like it's a more consistent flick. I'm not gonna lie, this has grown on me. Yeah, that's just a very easy flick. There's no way around it. Let's try to pull that board backwards. I didn't love that. It feels like my shoe is just stuck on the board. How do you get it, like, how do you get your foot to move through the nose if you're using that high on your shoe towards your toe? Tyler, will you put JM in timeout? Oh, B. Thank you, B. Okay, so now let's go to the next thing. Okay, so these probably work together. So, yes, I thought these were separate, but they're the same thing. You flip the front with your toe, which I mean like the ball of the foot, right? Like here. Like kickflips are up on the toe, heel flips are actually down there. Right, you can see that. I'm gonna wear through these shoes in a day. My favorite shoes. Gone. Oh my God. Okay, then the back foot actually turns a little bit backwards and it goes off the other corner. I'm thinking about heel flips along the center line of the board, but we actually we want to go, this is what B said, to go diagonal, so that back foot flies off the other corner. There it is. There it is. Look at what that did to the flick. I don't know why, I don't know how, but look at what that did. It made it this flat line, and it felt like it rolled off the shoe really nicely. It took all that tension off of the front foot. Hey, Angelique. How are you doing? Are you resting your broken wrist? Sounds like you're not resting. The way it works, this is what B says. The way it works is it takes tension off of the front foot by lowering the surface area of the heel foot. Now, how would it lower the surface area? So if I bring my back foot I don't know what that means, since your heel has less room to get caught. But if I were to move my back foot this way, that moves the nose out towards where my heel is going. That seems like it would be more tension. The board is not flat. The board is not flat. Yes, okay. That it picks up the toe side rail. Yes. That makes sense. When you pick up the heel flip, you pick it up like this. Now you can have a lot less tension on it and still get a strong flip. That makes more sense. Angelique, that was the first thing that we covered. Heel flips ending behind you. So you can actually rewind the stream a little bit, but most of it is just going to come from that squat. Feel like you're sitting in the chair on your back foot so you can jump backwards. That should push the heel flip in front of you. Okay, this makes sense. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, I'm very happy with where we are. Hip pain when you do kickflips, Jesse. So this could just be as simple as hit the gym, do some squats, get some like deep squats rolling, heel elevated, get those hips stronger, cars or whatever it's called, where you do all this stuff, like gym, hamstring curls, leg extensions, like get strong as hell. The other thing could just be your technique. Like if you're just letting your feet like fly out super wide whenever you take off, like that's just going to be a lot of tension. Drag that board back into your flip tricks. So then, like, look at my feet. They didn't have to move very far. That back foot goes this way, the front foot comes in, and then, you know, you're doing all your flip tricks right here. If you're super wide and your knees are super high, like, that's just going to be hard on your, it's just going to be hard on your hips. Do squats. Do squats. No doubt about it. Okay, that's pretty good for heel flips. There's some questions about like Shuvits and 360s and all this. I don't want to take too many detours, but like if you're just squatting too much on landing, it could be that you're just squatting too much on landing. Like it might not be a huge technique thing. Like the landing isn't gonna happen to you. So like when you're landing a trick, if you bend your knees a lot and you get weak and you get low, like it could just be as simple as like stand up on it. It's hard to tell without video and without being like in the same room, but I don't know. So let's go to the next thing. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you. Oh, what's up, JC? How's it going? How can I increase my air time? Let's get the board to flip. So if you guys are just showing up into this stream, we covered a lot of these basic ideas early on. Yeah, I'm at PQ. I guess I don't know how you can tell. That's crazy that you can tell. James, we covered that question like in depth earlier in the stream. If you just rewind it, you can go watch it. The board flipping where you feel like you have to jump super high and you can't get it to flip all the way around. We also covered that super in depth earlier in this stream. This is actually, I've only been here one other time. This is my second time I've ever been here. And it's pretty sweet, to be honest. I actually really like it. I just came to run a stream, that's it. And it's pretty nice. So let's do the next part of this. Which we need a little more space for.
kickflip, bro.
No way.
So cool. That's why I kept looking at you. Not
Oh,
anything weird. I
sick.
just saw you and I was like, oh my god, it's him.
Oh, that's so great to hear,
you,
man.
like,
Yep.
so
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We got a skate IQ meeting. He was staring earlier, and I was self-conscious about it. I was like, oh man, the guy at the skate park with the camera. No, I don't think he's watching the live. All right, so my Twitch chat died a while ago, so I'm gonna get caught up. Mad Matt, I'm doing well, thank you. We are gonna do slides and grinds and stuff very soon. We have a ledge stream scheduled, actually. No problem, Preston. I'm happy to help. Who's right behind me? See ya, B. Much love. Push the tail back when ollieing fixed everything. Awesome, awesome. B, thank you for the advice, man. I appreciate it. All right, let's finish this up strong. Let's go. I want to take some questions first. I can see behind me. Look. Look, Jacob, you can't tell me someone's behind me if they're not. Silly. So, tray flips. Let's talk about tray flips. Finish this stream off strong. I'm gonna need some questions from you guys, but I'm gonna talk about it the best I can. So, I mean, we're to the point where, like, tray flips are obviously a back foot trick. Like, that doesn't confuse anyone anymore. Like, that's what everyone says. It is true. The scoop, right? Everybody knows the scoop. It's not like a big confusing thing that nobody knows how tray flips work. Ollies, geez, nobody knows how ollies work. I swear to God. But I actually think we do know how tray flips work. So I'm wondering, what do you guys need with a tray flip? What is relevant content that will actually help? Hash muffins would be a great mod, probably. Squat and lean back some. Yeah, I like that jump back. My issue with my tray flips is just that it's not getting the full flip. It only goes like 80%. Okay, that's a decent issue to have. That can be frustrating. How do you land it? I can't get the flick. Keep it under me. Okay. Okay, so this is what happens. This is what happens in the content world. There, you have a problem, and you make the video to solve the problem that everyone has. So for tray flips, there was a moment in time where all the skaters, we didn't know if it was a front foot or a back foot trick. And then all the content comes out that says tray flips are all in your back foot. It's all in the scoop. So then we have a generation of people who know how to scoop it, but now it's not flipping anymore. So then we have to adjust the content to make it more legit, right? That's how the game of content works. So Reefer King, we actually have a video. I just learned dolphin flips on video. We just posted it a few days ago. So now let's figure out how we can realistically use both of our feet in a tray flip. I think that's more of a balanced approach, and that seems more reasonable to me. Douglas, I don't know if that's a question or not, but it is about foot and weight placement, and that's what makes it possible for you to not overly use your front foot and still get it to flip. So, when you're standing on a tray flip, you know what? I'm just going to try a couple things. What happens if I put both of my feet on the toe side? It doesn't want to get in the air, but it still wanted to flip. What happens if I put both of my feet on the heel side? Didn't want to flip, but I got in the air. Okay, so this is very, 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 very simple, the logic here. I'm going to put my back foot on the toe side so it wants to flip. I'm going to put my front foot on the heel side so the board wants to come in the air. What's up, Mr. Leahy? Look, guys, this is how I want you exploring your tricks. Did that make sense? Moxitron asked, do I think Andy's fancy grip tape with all the lines is a bit of a gimmick? Does it help you learn the trick by following the path on the grip? I don't know. I have never tried the grip tape that Andy got, and I wouldn't know how to use it. I think I would be overwhelmed without having it should come with a course on how to use it. I'm sure it works great. There's a lot of lines and there's a lot of different ways to use them. So I just would be overwhelmed with what to do. Hey Garov, I'm here to answer. We have a kicker ramp reel. No problem. It is the counterbalance of the foot positions that make the board want to flip. But what I just learned is if I put both of my feet on the toe side, the board still wants to flip. The board still flips. It just doesn't get in the air. If I put both of my feet on the heel side, the board doesn't want to flip, but it gets in the air. I bet I could still do a tray flip if my back foot is on the heel side and my front foot is on the toe side. No, it doesn't flip. The back foot keeps it flat. So I was just plain wrong. So if I move my back foot to the center of the tail, flips halfway. The back foot has got to be over the back toe side wheel, and all that pressure's got to be in that toe side wheel to get it to flip. That's beautiful. Thomas, exactly. It is the pressure on the back truck during takeoff. This is Dex an 825. Okay, so if you're ending up landing in front of your tray flips, meaning your front foot goes like this, you're probably focused too much on spinning it and not enough on popping it. You want to get, so let me show you one more time. If I hang both of my feet off the toe side, my regular pop doesn't get in the air. I'm jumping the same amount. So basically, I'm gonna say, just get your back foot onto that toe side wheel and jump. Jump super high. And I just tested it switch. I've never tried that before in that foot position with that technique. And all I did was jump. Just jump off of the back foot. Gets it up into the air. And then you just gotta read them. Like if you're too scared to land on tray flips, you gotta grind your kickflips and shuvits and all that. Like if you can place the board but you're too scared, like that's just your I don't want to be too harsh, but you just got to get better. All right, let's make one tray flip. With good technique. Okay, so my big problem before with my tray flips is I was actually trying to hold the board on the heel side because I felt like that got it in the air. But I actually want to push more on that toe side and then just hold that little bit of pressure on that front foot to hold it almost flat. But I'm still going to be like erring on the side of the toe side because that's what makes it flip. That's what makes it flip. Because if I'm here, both feet on toe side, I can still flip it by jumping. That's good. So I want it to flip. So I'm just gonna stay on the toe side, but I'm gonna bring my front foot off and I'm just gonna push on it a little bit to help that board get in the air a little bit. I'm happy with that. See, I'm just testing this. This is a new technique. I don't know how it's gonna flip. I don't wanna land primo and get all messed up just for the live stream. Okay, so I'm just gonna mess with it for a second, try to keep putting it in a good spot, but feel all this extra pressure on my toe side. Just while I'm figuring it out. Bring my front foot a little bit lower. So that's fast. That's almost too fast. That almost flips and spins too fast. That little bit of extra pressure on the toe side of the tail makes it flip so fast. If you guys want kick flip, heel flip, no pop flip, ollies, that's all earlier in the stream. I never remember which side's the front. All right. It just flips so much faster. So now we always have to make a decision here. Change your foot position, change your technique, change the pressure. Now it's flipping too fast. So I can either change my foot position back to what I know, or I could be like, all right, let's think about this in a smart way. If I'm doing the same things that I was doing before, but it's flipping faster, I probably have to try to flip it a little bit less. So I'm just going to use my back foot less and be lazier because I found a position that makes it easy. So we're going to keep the easy position and I'm just going to do less. When I'm jumping, I'm not going to drive that foot as much. I'm going to feel like I get my back foot out and away from the tray flip to nerf it a little bit. felt more like how tray flips look when I watch them on video. My tray flips never looked like they did when I saw everyone else doing them. And I feel like that's the technique. Bless you. Thank you. So what role does a scoop? Yeah. No, that is the flip part to it. The pressure on the tail, on the toe side of the tail, on over this back left wheel for me, because I'm goofy. If I put all my pressure onto this wheel and then jump, the board flips. Because there's tension. There's tension and friction in the ground. Where if I jump from here, that board wants to react and go the other way. The reason your front foot position is important is because if both your feet are off of the toe side, when you jump, the nose won't come into the air. It'll stay really low and it'll flip too low to the ground and won't get around. The reason you got to push on your front foot is because that leveling of the board out will make the board come in the air, but all this pressure on the toe side will make it flip. Okay, so that is our 5 tricks that we had today. I actually don't teach steez because I'm not very steezy. I'm just not. Like, I'm kind of... My style's always been so basic, dude. I'm just not that steezy. It always feels very unbalanced with how close you put your feet for tray flip. It makes it go to one side or the other. It always looks like you're winding up for front side and back side. It's hard to keep it straight with such a foot position. Patient boy, I would say to understand why you have your foot position where you do. You don't just hold them close to hold them close. If you're losing balance because of your foot position, it's probably not a good foot position. Extremely chalant skater. I love that. Trent. I love that. Did you hear me say chalant in another stream? I don't remember if I did, but I've been saying that. So I think that's hilarious. Yo, hey.
I actually gotta go now, but
I can just go on IRL and end it. Okay.
Give me a call after though. I gotta talk to you about something.
Okay. Let me grab my phone. Let me get my third phone. Notice me, senpai. Notice me. So don't just put your feet close together just to put them close together. Like, you're gonna have to actually understand why your feet are in the positions they are. You can rewind this stream to find how I found the tray flip foot position. And then go from there. That should help your balance. That should be more. That was a noticing, UK. My tray flips tend to flip way in front of me. I feel like you need to understand what is making the board go that way. Because if your feet are on the toe side, your board will probably go towards the toe side. But if they're on the heel side, then it won't flip. So you gotta find a combo of both. just was gonna tell you like that I could end it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it just worked out. See ya. Front Rock, we have a transition stream coming up this week, so don't worry about it. We have a short video on kicker ramps right now, Gaurav. Look it up. It's on our shorts. We just posted it. Of course I would skate with Miles Silva. Are you crazy? No, I haven't watched Tom Shar's new part. I was going to watch it this morning, but we had this. Will you be able to post your stream schedule? Yeah. Yeah. I will be able to. So we're going to show my foot position from above, and then we're going to end the stream. So let's do it like this. I gotta see, because I'm on a bit of a delay, so I gotta see if this is the right angle. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So if I put my feet like this, but it's not just a foot position, it's also a balance too. Because if I bend down, I can hold the board flat with my feet all the way over there, and that's not really gonna do much. But I wanna bend down into the balls of my feet. And so if I have the board all the way tipping this way, this is just gonna, see, and I'm gonna move my foot down so it has more pressure into that wheel, into that toe side wheel. This is gonna make the board flip, but it's not gonna get in the air, so it won't get all the way around. So I'm gonna move my front foot over here, and I'm gonna keep all this pressure on the toe side, but I'm gonna push a little bit into this toe there to hold the board almost flat, and then jump off of the back foot and kick that back foot around, and boom, it's gonna flip. Yeah, Tom's part's gonna need a couple of rewatches. I already can tell. Okay, guys. See ya. That was super fun. I thought it was super useful. Let me go over the stream schedule right now just with you guys, because I feel like that is important. Today's live stream was at noon. Tomorrow, Tuesday the 21st, is going to be closer to 10 a.m. and we're going to cover, well, we haven't decided what to cover yet. I have some ideas, but it's going to take some prep. So we might do, we'll just decide the day up. But tomorrow,